And JFOD, there's a lot of people probably going, these people are talking against America, but these people who believe that we're speaking against America just don't get it, man. We're just speaking the truth. It's not about patriotism or nationalism, man. The truth is, right, like we screwed up North Korea. We gave them a lot of money, and they were so pissed that we screwed them over back in the Korean War that what they did was they said, you know what? We're going to save this money. We're not going to feed our people. We're not going to build a whole bunch of infrastructure. What we're going to do is we're going to beef up our military. The money that they got to build up their military, some of that money came from us paying them. And they just said, you know what? We're not going to take it. So also, JFOD, I believe, bro, that the news, like when we get these media reports that like Kim Jong-un fed somebody to a pack of dogs, or like he's got a human, coffee grinder or something, like I'm really questioning all that shit, man. Like,
well, of course, man. That's known as, okay, two things I want to say. First, it's known as atrocity propaganda, and we'll talk about that. And guess how I know that? Because we Americans are very, very good at it. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, what I want to say is anybody that thinks that we're being anti-American by, calling out ridiculous neocon policies and a kind of a warlike mentality, it's the most patriotic thing you can do, to actually question what the powers to be are doing. And anyone that calls you anti-American for it, it's like they really, really need to check themselves. And guess what? I'll take that heat. I'll take that flack any day of the fucking week, because it's like, wake the fuck up and realize that sadly, more of the American economy than we care to admit is based on the war machine. And that's a huge fucking problem. Absolutely. And guess what? I don't want our service members, our heroes, to go fight and die to enrich special interests. I want them, not to be wantonly thrown into wars for fucking oil companies. And if that makes me unpatriotic and not supportive of the troops, then the person that's saying that is fucking psychotic. Anyway, that's try to argue with that, Tim, right? But anyway,
I love that shit, man.
It's the truth. But anyway, back to the other thing that you were saying. It's called atrocity propaganda. We do it all the time. Like basically, do you remember the lead up to Gulf War I in the early 90s? There was the infamous Naira testimony. This was a 15-year-old a Kuwaiti girl testifying in front of a subcommittee in Congress, reading from a transcript, crying her eyes out, talking about how the Iraqi soldiers were throwing all the babies out of the incubators, which is viscerally horrifying to Americans, plays off Americans' sense of moral decency at their core.
It's the second week after invasion. I volunteered at the Al-Adan hospital with 12 other women who wanted to help as well. I was the youngest volunteer. The other women were from 20 to 30 years old. While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators, took the incubators, and left the children to die on the cold floor. It was horrifying. Right?
Turned out that was a completely false testimony. She is this is how ballsy they are. She was the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador to the United States. Are you fucking kidding me? And yeah, if you just type in Naira, Nayrah testimony, it's a fucking Wikipedia fucking page that explains it non-controversially. And basically, and then those weeks leading up to the war, George H.W. Bush cited her 10 times. All of the mainstream press fell in line, and we did Iraq the first time around. We did it pretty much. We didn't, march into Baghdad and, remove Saddam, and the Kurds got slaughtered and we fucked them over. And then we started with the sanctions under Clinton and the fucking oil for food bullshit program that killed at least 500,000 children, all the depleted uranium we put into that country after the first war. The cancer in this place is fucking crazy. It's all forgotten history shit, but it's real. So that's using atrocity propaganda. So now they're saying, Kim Jong-un, he's, feeding them to dogs and grinding them up. It's atrocity propaganda. Here's the truth. Kim Jong-un, he's got a cheese addiction that he can't beat.
According to the Mirror, the leader of the Hermit Kingdom developed a dairy addiction while studying in Switzerland, the great land of cheese. There's speculation Kim's got it bad for Emmental cheese, or Swiss cheese. It's one of the few bulk imports into a country billed as a place of great starvation.
Like he got gout because he can't stop eating cheese, and he keeps getting these cheeses imported from the Nordic countries, and he just can't stop gobbling up his chubby gullet with so much delicious cheese. But he's very lactose intolerant, so he gave himself gout.
Fucking idiot, man. God.
And his father, by the way, true story, had the world's biggest DVD collection in history.
Wow.
That's real.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.